Challenges and Legends will likely into English, finally. Challenges and Legends will likely be here in Paris. We're finalizing our structures and our planning around that. That's why Nicolas is here. He's judging every element of the staging capabilities to make sure it fits perfectly. Our ticket sales will go on sale to a pre-sale public who sign up to Blast.tv on the 23rd of January, and general sale will go on sale on the 26th of January.
Yes, question for Blast, please. I'm Nel for 1PV. We heard that the commentary will be in English in the stadium. Can you explain why you decided that? Because the French are not the best in English.
You're fantastic. I think your English is pretty good.
Yeah, maybe.
Not really. No, but in all seriousness, I think it's a great question. And I think it's the hardest thing to try to navigate when you go to any other country in the world, right, that isn't native English speakers. Historically, we do quite militant surveying. So every time we've been to an event, every ticket holder will get a survey. We see quite high rates on people responding to those, which is exciting. That also gives us quite a good measure of what does people actually feel like around this subject. That's one of the questions in every survey we do. And historically, it's always been almost as clean a 50-50 split as you can imagine. So that's why in the past, we've tried both. And I think for this one, with just the scale of it, the importance of it, how iconic an event it is. And we know historically from other majors how many people travel in. We want to make sure that we open up for that as well, right? Where I think historically, if you do it in a native tongue, that will be a big detractor and mean that people won't travel for it because they won't understand what's going on. So we're trying to straddle this balance of respecting the native tongue, maybe also seeing if you don't speak it a bit better than you think. But in all fairness, try to make it as inclusive as possible without, dismissing the big local crowd as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I will continue then.
Go on.
I'm really happy. I'm French, and I'm really happy we have a major in France. But you are Danish, and Denmark is one of the biggest scene also. Why didn't you do it in Denmark?
I think with Blast Premier, which is our big Counter-Strike circuit that we also move around, the major we see as its own standalone event. And I think Copenhagen has been a bit of a crown jewel in the Blast Premier circuit where we come back every single year. So it would feel slightly repetitive as well to go back to the place where we already have a show that works and does its thing. And then I think it also comes from a place of wanting to pull out all the stops, do something special, surprise the people at home, surprise the people in France and Paris with something that was unexpected. And then, as I mentioned in the presentation, there's so much history in this town. For me personally, for everyone who's played Counter-Strike, for a lot of the players who've competed here. So we just felt like it had to be special. I think it's probably the best way to put it.
Juste pour revenir en français sur ce parti-là, c'est évidemment, on aurait pu choisir Danemark, mais on a déjà quelque chose qui se place en Danemark à Copenhague, à la Royal Arena tous les années. Donc, du coup, on voulait vraiment faire quelque chose de différent et créatif. Et on adore Paris, on adore la France, on adore l'écosystème français. On a entendu ce qu'ils ont dit et on s'est dit, il faut qu'on trouve un moyen de faire ça quelque chose ici en France. C'est pour ça, c'est vraiment pour ça. Et je pense que ce qu'ils ont dit, les joueurs, c'est vrai, hein, ça va être quelque chose d'inédit, ça va être quelque chose d'incroyable. Je pense que les fans, ils vont acheter en masse les billets. Ça va être un grand spectacle. Donc, on est très contents.
Any more? No, that's it.
Is there a question from the stream?
Get around with it.
Testing. Yep. We've got a question from PlayGG for apEX. Does it add a bit of extra motivation in the preparation and work towards the major with it being on French soil?
Of course. As I said earlier, for us, 2022 hasn't been the best year in terms of everything, but most likely the majors. We didn't go to the group stage at any of them. So now, obviously, having the major of your own soil, it's really important. And we're really looking forward to play there. And as we said before as well, the preparation already started. And that's obviously the big goal for the team. So we're going to give everything to make it happen and to go as far as possible.
From Dust to US for Robbie and for shox. I'll let Robbie take it first. We recently saw the IEM Rio Major and how passionate the Brazilian fans were for the country's teams. Do you believe the French scene can replicate these scenes and this passion towards the event?
I think not only can they replicate it, they can beat it. I really do. When the French teams have their following, they are incredibly patriotic. They get behind their team, and they get behind events that happen on home soil. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here with this event. So I think it'll be a partisan arena. I'm sure when you're playing there, you're going to enjoy it. You'll hopefully benefit from it as well. It will be very exciting. What do you think?
I think I do agree with you. I think first, like you have to say that French people overall like got a big ego as well. So for sure, like if there is like a French team on the scene, the crowd like will be 100% behind it for sure. And more than that, I think like the French people as well like love to have fun, and they are really good about like supporting an event and making noise. You know, even in the soccer stadium or whatever. I mean, the French crowd had been like always very good. So I do agree with you. Like I think they will be there for sure.
Just to US again for Nicolas, is the goal to have the challenges and the legends in front of a crowd?
I think that's what we're trying to explore. I think we're trying to figure out what is the best way that we can present the challengers and legends. I think for us, the big spectacle waiting at the end should be the arena when we crown a champion. So I think with that in mind, we're trying to find a balance of maybe opening up to the public, but the first and foremost task of the challengers and the legends is to do a strong broadcast and make sure that that is the best product it can be. So I think for now, maybe that's the little vague, slightly secretive answer that I'll give. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see.
There's a question here just on the floor as well.
Et bonjour, Julien pour le point. Vous avez rappelé dans votre vidéo de présentation le message d'Emmanuel Macron. Est-ce que c'est la suite logique des choses pour le e-sport en France, ou alors avant c'était un petit peu plus compliqué, c'est peut-être un peu moins pris au sérieux par les pouvoirs publics?
Je pense que c'est la suite. Je pense que le fait qu'un président d'État prend parole et donne une opinion et prend la responsabilité d'encourager et de demander à la scène française de se regrouper sur un événement, je pense que c'est un grand suite pour les joueurs, pour l'écosystème, pour ceux qui travaillent dans l'e-sport. C'est un aspect qui est souvent oublié. C'est qu'il y a des joueurs, ils sont très très importants, mais il y a énormément de personnes qui travaillent derrière. Ceux qui sont responsables pour la production, ceux qui sont responsables pour la broadcast, ceux qui travaillent avec les talents, etc. Donc il y a un grand écosystème derrière, et ça c'est très important. Pourquoi? Parce que ça crée du boulot, ça crée des emplois pour des gens, et c'est un écosystème qui est en pleine croissance. Donc je pense que c'est vraiment la suite. J'espère que, comme ils ont dit les joueurs, qu'il y a plus d'événements en France, pas surtout à Paris, mais on sait très bien qu'à Montpellier, il y a une énorme scène de e-sport. Donc voilà, donc je pense que c'est vraiment la suite qu'on peut imaginer. Question at the back on the left.
Bonjour, Léa pour Le Monde. 7% des gamers sont des gameuses, en tout cas s'identifient comme femmes. CS est historiquement très présent dans la scène féminine, mais malheureusement les majors qui sont pourtant des compétitions mixtes n'ont jamais vu se qualifier des équipes féminines ou mixtes. Et depuis la pandémie, en plus, de nombreuses équipes ont migré vers Valorant. Donc, ma question, c'est dans le cadre de cette compétition, est-ce que vous attendez à voir des équipes féminines ou mixtes se qualifier? Et plus généralement, en tant qu'organisateur et en tant que joueur, qu'est-ce qui pourrait être fait pour améliorer la diversité dans le e-sport?
Okay, the question is around whether or not there's going to be more mixed teams and female teams playing inside the major, but also what can we do to help the ecosystem kind of improve that going forwards?
Of course. I think it's a great question, and I think it's a very big question, because I think we're talking about a shift of an entire ecosystem. So I think what we can do from our point of, let's call it the highest tier of competitive play, is to consistently at least embrace in whatever way we can that anyone can compete. And I think the major is a great example, right? If a mixed gender roster were to compete, were to beat a lot of people on the way, they could win. There's nothing holding them back from doing that. So I think that's what we can probably do for this event specifically. I do think as an ecosystem, it comes down to everything. It's a cultural thing globally. where I think there's a lot that everyone can do, and that's everyone as in company, team, us as individuals, when we compete online and how we treat each other online. So that's why I think it's a great question. It's a very big one. I think we can do what we can do with what we have to pull levers on, and I think there's some great initiatives being done in the space. I think you mentioned Valorant. My French is getting better as we go along in this event. And I think there's, in Counter-Strike, also a lot of positive things happening with, I believe it's ESL Impact that has a women's league. That's being normalized, I think, is good steps into what I think everyone's dream and aspiration should be, which is mixed gender play. I think it's the only logical thing when we don't have the physical hindrance as we do in traditional sports. So I think we're all aspiring towards the same thing, and it will be on all of us to do what we can with the levers that we have to pull. I don't know if that answers your question well enough.
Adrien Schwitter, Challenge, ici. C'est pas une association, Blast, c'est une entreprise, donc l'événement est sûrement rentable. Combien vous mobilisez pour l'organisation? Combien les places seront vendues? Combien vous imaginez gagner sur cet événement? J'imagine que vous ne répondrez pas à beaucoup de questions, mais au moins donner quelques chiffres.
J'ai un problème de mémoire aussi, donc voilà, je vais essayer de prendre les trois questions. Donc oui, évidemment, on n'est pas une association, on est une entreprise basée à Danemark, dans l'Union européenne, je précise. Donc on estime qu'on va travailler un format qui peut être rentable. On ne sait pas encore. Ce que je sais, c'est que ce monsieur ici dépense beaucoup d'argent. Donc pour s'assurer que le produit est vraiment de qualité. Et aussi l'importance du major, c'est qu'il y a énormément d'équipes qui jouent, des équipes de partout, du monde entier. Donc il faut qu'ils voyagent, il faut qu'ils soient logés, hébergés, nourris, etc. Du coup, le major, je pense que pour nous, ça présente une opportunité importante dans un environnement qui est compliqué aujourd'hui. Hein. Le global ecosystem, il est assez compliqué au niveau des finances, mais on estime qu'on peut rendre ce produit rentable et c'est important. Niveau billetterie, on va essayer de maximiser à fond que les prix soient abordables pour tout le monde. Donc on va essayer de compenser les prix pour un prix qui est vraiment important pour chaque personne. Donc par jour, on va revenir à un billet de 35 à 40 euros par journée.
Bonjour, j'ai une question ici. J'ai une question pour Monsieur Richard Papillon. Je viens de voir sur tes réseaux que tu as annoncé ton départ de l'équipe norvégienne apEX. Tu peux nous en dire un peu plus?
Oui, si tu veux. En effet, avec apEX, on a tout simplement clôturé le contrat en étant d'accord tous les deux. Et et donc du coup vis-à-vis du major justement qui arrive de Paris, et d'où l'excitation de ce qu'on est en train de parler depuis ce matin. Moi, je prépare un petit truc, et du coup, moi, je vous donne rendez-vous sur mon stream ce soir à 21h si vous voulez en savoir plus.
You just announced that you were leaving your team this morning, so what are the expectations when it comes to the major? I just announced this today, but there's something cooking, so if you wanna see, tune in tonight on my stream. Quelle heure? What time?
9 o'clock.
9 p.m. if you wanna know more.
A nice plug.
Good job.
Bonjour, c'est Léo de MGG. J'ai une question pour toi alors du coup. Je suis habitué à te voir sur une autre scène, je ne vais pas citer le nom, mais on a aussi Robbie a promis qu'il va y avoir pas d'interaction en français sur place. Est-ce que ta présence aujourd'hui ici signifie qu'on a l'assurance de te retrouver au Major dans quelques mois?
On verra dans les mois qui viennent. Ça a été une volonté de ma part depuis longtemps de travailler sur d'autres e-sports et notamment CSGO qui est une scène que j'aime énormément. Donc je suis contente de l'opportunité que j'ai aujourd'hui et on verra où est-ce que ça peut mener par la suite.
Moi, j'avais une question. Vous avez montré un peu l'expérience Blast TV sur comment on regarde sur Blast TV. Le fait est qu'en France, la plupart des gens regardent sur Twitch l'e-sport, que ce soit Counter-Strike ou n'importe quel autre jeu. Est-ce que vous n'avez pas un peu peur que les gens passent un peu à côté de l'expérience, ou même entre guillemets de se faire bouffer par un géant comme Twitch, et que ça, vous n'arriviez jamais à arriver sur les mêmes audiences que la plateforme Amazon.
Donc the question is around whether or not we're worried that people are going to go to Twitch and not go and watch on Blast TV. But, je vais essayer de répondre et you can also come in on that as well. Je pense que ce qu'on est en train de créer, c'est quelque chose de spécial pour vraiment les super fans. Et les super fans, ce qu'on a vu déjà avec le lancement de ce produit et cette plateforme, il vient en masse parce qu'il veut avoir une expérience plus riche, plus Counter-Strike, plus spécifique à leur monde. Qui est vraiment catered for them. Et je pense que c'est ça que Blast TV peut apporter. Est-ce qu'on a peur que on se fait, je sais pas comment tu bon voilà, c'est délicat. Non, je pense que bon, ça s'appelle le Blast TV Major, donc je pense qu'on a intérêt à pousser vraiment à fond le plateforme, donc ça a marché. Did you have anything you wanted to add? You probably didn't understand
everything I just understood.
You said everything perfectly.
I think so. Let's see if this is going to be super repetitive. If it is, then apologies. I think you mentioned superfan in the beginning, and I think that is where you start, right? You need someone that can champion it and take it forward. I think for us, it was just create something that we feel like we're missing when we're watching, and then see if that doesn't resonate with others. And I think I love YouTube and Twitch, and we have good working relationship with both. But it's also platforms where you can go and live stream anything. You can go and upload anything. I think this is a niche esports only tailor-made experience. And I think that's what we're trying to push. That, of course, it's a huge task and getting people over is going to take a lot. But I do also think in general consumer behavior, if you build something that's better, they will come eventually, is at least our thesis. Was that repetitive or no?
It was quite good. Whew, we're getting there.
Understanding more. Online, maybe?
Play GG for ZywOo. With the Paris Major coming up, how do you think what is the current setup of the French scene? What position is it in at the minute, do you think?
J'ai pas compris.
Can you repeat again? Slowly.
Je la fais en français parce que là, mon anglais, il est pas. Non, la position de la scène française, en ce moment, elle n'est pas, on va dire, il reste plus tant de joueurs, on va dire, dans le tiers 1, mais il y a beaucoup de joueurs comme des équipes comme Heat, Falcon qui essaient de monter, on va dire, de remonter en rang. Mais comme j'ai dit juste avant, si on a les bons coachs expérimentés qui apprennent aux jeunes joueurs de la scène française à comment bien jouer à un bon CS et à progresser en équipe, j'ai aucun doute que la scène française pourrait remonter au top niveau en très peu de temps. Et ça, j'ai aucun doute.
The French scene is not at its best right now, but as I said previously, I think that if the players have the best support staff and ways to make them perform around them, there's a lot of prospects and new talents that are growing, and no doubt that if they have the right environment, the French scene might regrow again.
I also want to add to that one of the things that a major brings to a country is it will develop an ecosystem for the future. And so I think we will see the impact of this major in France in a year, in 2 years' time, as a consequence of it. And I think that's very exciting for the French scene and the community.
More online or anything in the room? Nope, we're done online. More in the room?
On est bon? Non, une question? Ça va être dans les dernières?
Oh, no.
Could you explain a little bit more precisely what the kind of interaction that people at home and people can have with the player in the arena or whatsoever?
Yeah, of course. So explain a bit more about what can you do on the platform that can kind of impact what you experience. So I think right now we've tried and tested things like selecting which maps to be played in a show match. I think if we began picking maps for them, they would probably be mad. So let's maybe leave the competitive side of things intact. But I think it's everything around it, what you want to hear about and see. So that could be if you're in an arena and you would like a great analytical segment or a form of entertainment in the arena, why not let you pick when you're the one sitting in the arena and taking it in rather than us dictating everything, right? So it's everything from the in-arena entertainment show, a lot of what goes out to the world, like the show match, that's picking the players that are going to play the show match, everything when the match is live, like I showed you, that could be changing how the game even behaves, that kind of thing. So I think we're trying to push it, and it's going to be a place where the competitive integrity is intact, but where we can maybe push the boundaries a little bit on everything else is up for grabs, essentially. So yeah, we're trying to truly make it an event where you can help creative and assets unfolding in front of you.
L'importance pour nous aussi, c'est que quand on regarde la télé à la maison et on regarde du sport dans une façon vraiment one-dimensional pour l'instant, on estime que dans le gaming, on est capable de faire quelque chose de beaucoup plus créatif, beaucoup plus innovant, beaucoup plus lean-in, et c'est ce qu'ils ont besoin, ils aiment les joueurs. Donc, on a beaucoup de capacité d'animer ça. On est vraiment en interne obsédé par ce qu'on appelle le broadcast. Obsédé. La salle, l'intérieur, l'arena, c'est très important, mais en même temps, le broadcast pour nous c'est clé. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il y a des millions de personnes qui regardent. Et si on peut rendre ça beaucoup plus innovant et adaptable à ce qu'on fait aujourd'hui avec la technologie, on est capable de faire des merveilles en technologie, pourquoi pas? Donc c'est une opportunité.
Exactement.
Exactement. Oh, one more question at the back.
Dust to US again for Robbie, Nicolas, up to you guys to decide. Regarding the open qualifier dates, when do you expect these to be announced? And additionally, how will Blast work with the community to allow streamers and community members to broadcast and get involved with the games?
I think we're trying to get the dates out there as soon as possible. And I think I was asked the same question almost upon arrival. When can I get to compete in the tournament?
An announcement at 9 o'clock tonight. That's
exactly. And again, sorry to have to be the one to give slightly vague answers, but we will try to get that out there as soon as possible so people can plan accordingly. So that'll probably be that for now. In regards to the other part of the question, okay, mind just repeating that, sorry.
Is it around how Blast will involve the community in terms of streamers and community members getting involved with the broadcast and the games?
Right. So as you know, and as you can see from the numbers, already the major is huge. And we've built quite an incredible broadcast infrastructure in partnerships around the world where we broadcast to 115 plus countries and territories, which is almost unheard of in esports. So I think we want to make sure that we can do justice by the partners that are keen on leaning in, because that will help with the mainstream eyeballs that we all want to get into the scene for ecosystems to grow. But we do also want to figure out how to make sure that key people in the industry can potentially stream it. But for now, we're trying to make sure that the broadcast is set, that we know the structure of that, and then we may look at initiative for people to lean in.
Bon, merci tout le monde, merci pour votre présence et très bonne journée.